Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't wanna miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats, you know that we gotta run it back. Whether on the field or the court, you know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to another Live Wire Sports video. But hey, I don't even have time to do an introduction. Normally, I would never do a video this early in the morning, but we have some breaking news because the fact of the matter is that finally, the Washington Commanders will have the opportunity to rebuild the old RFK Stadium back in DC and have a new stadium. As reported by AJ Perez, who is really good at reporting this kind of stuff. I like AJ because I listen to him on a lot of different things, but he broke it down. He's been reporting on this constantly. He said, breaking news, DC will soon have the option for the next Washington Commanders Stadium in a shocking early morning twist in the Senate. The RFK bill passed by unanimous consent, meaning all 100 senators will be on board hours after it was left out of the continuous resolution, which stupid Elon Musk tried to mess the whole thing up. But they got it taken care of. They got it situated. They got it where it's passed. Now, only thing it needs to do is only thing it needs to do is the President Biden signs it. So this is, to me, this is something I have always wanted. A lot of the fans wanted is to bring the bring the stadium back instead of allowing Maryland or Virginia to have opportunities to get the stadium back. Now we already know that if Dan Snyder was still the owner of this team, this would never ever happen. We probably would never get this stadium. We probably would end up be building in Maryland or in Virginia. So that's good. Now, Washington News 7 reported in a overnight vote that will likely be reminiscent to many Washington Commander fans of the thrilling victory over the Chicago Bears. Yes, this is absolutely one of the best Hail Marys. We had the one Hail Mary against the Chicago Bears, but this is a victory Hail Mary, a real victory Hail Mary, because there was always talks in the future about this. And then, when Daniel Snyder was there was a sketch project of a new stadium. And then I think Daniel Snyder he bought some land over in Maryland. But now I think since he sold the team, that land is Josh Harris's land. So now Josh Harris could do whatever he wants with that land because he inherited by buying the team. But this is phenomenal news for the Commanders because now we have the opportunity to bring the team back to DC. Last year when I went up there for training camp and I passed through that area, that stadium, it looked so bad in that area. Now you could be able to have more jobs in that area if you get the stadium in that area and whatever the case may be. So I'm gonna go ahead and read a little bit more of this. The Senate passed a bill that granted DC control of the old RFK Stadium site, paving the way for the city to potentially build a new NFL stadium and try to lure the team back to the district for their home games. Less than an hour after a legislation was thought to be dead. Early in the week, DC leaders rejoiced when the language of the bill transferred control of the stadium site to the city was added to the must-pass funding bill to avert a government shutdown. We already know that there was almost, almost a government shutdown, and they had to because there was talk so about Biden and Kamala Harris. They was supposed to be on vacation, and they all had to rush back to the White House. And I think this is because they had to get this bill passed, because if they had a government shutdown, we don't know how long it would have took all the way to the beginning of the year to get this all resolved. So now that it's resolved, there's no government shutdown. It's a good thing. So, and you know how these government shutdowns go. They tend to take longer than normal. So, however, the House Representatives stripped the continuous resolution to his measure after President-elect Donald Trump and tech billionaire Elon Musk told them to reject the version of the bill over other objections. Though Musk did single out the stadium provision in a post on X that provided inaccurate information about what it would do. The House and Senate went ahead and approved the funding legislation to prevent a shutdown and keep the federal government operational until mid-March without the RFK Stadium measure. But DC Delano Holmes Norton even released a statement after the passage of the bill, stating her disappointment. The RFK Stadium language was scrapped, but went ahead and said she was optimistic the bill will pass when the next Congress takes over in January. So we don't even have to wait for that. We don't even have to wait for that at all, because now if President Biden signs it, and the bill is already passed. But once he signs it, it's done. We don't even have to wait till Trump gets in office. We don't even have to wait for anything. And me personally, Elon Musk need to stick to Elon Musk things. You know what I'm saying? He don't need to be having his hand in government situations, especially when it comes down to a football team that could be bringing millions of dollars of jobs into that DC area. You know what I'm saying? Building the economy back up in that area. I mean, you got to think smartly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you're a billionaire, but billionaires tend to act dumb half of the time. You know what I'm saying? Because they got money, they know everything, and it doesn't work that way. But anyway, but less than an hour after the Senate approval of the funding package, Senator Majority Leader Chuck Schumer introduced the DC Robert F. Kennedy Memorial Stadium Campus Revitalization Act on the floor and asked for it to pass by unanimous consent. So, with no objection, the bill passed the Senate and now it heads to President Biden's desk for signature. The bill transfer controls of the federal-owned stadium campus to DC, allowing the city to use the land for the following purposes: to build a stadium, commercially and residentially develop, faculties, open spaces, public outdoor opportunities. So, in other words, they could build a stadium and have all of this around it, all of it. Because if you think about the layout for the last stadium sketched out, that when Daniel Snyder was he was owner of the team, they had hotels and all of this stuff connected to the stadium. So maybe that still could be an option. That may be still something now that Josh Snyder could look into, and say, hey, we want to build a stadium. Maybe if they tear it down this year, they could probably have it built next year or whatever, whenever the lease for um the stadium that they're in now is out, is up. So, but the House passed the House the House with overwhelming bipartisan support in February, but had been left tolling the Senate for months. Members of the conference, members of Congress from Maryland legislators in both chambers raised concern about the bill. Currently, the Commanders play their home games at Northwest Stadium in Prince George County, and lawmakers from that state sought out assertion in the area where the Landover Stadium sits would be redeveloped if the team moved. So, in other words, if the team does move back to DC, then they could use that stadium for redevelopment. They could use it for other things, whatever. They could make it tear it down and build housing communities, whatever they want to do with it. So, but they've been trying to keep the team there. Virginia was trying to bid to move the team there, but the team needs to be back in its rightfully placed. That's all it is. It just needs to be in the back its rightfully placed, and I'm happy about it. I mean, as a long Washington fan from the Redskin days all the way up to the change of the football team to the change of ownership and everything else. I'm so glad about this. I'm happy about it. It's one of the best things that this could happen to this franchise. You think about it. Shout out to George Carmen. He posted on his X account. He said, exciting times ahead for Washington Commanders. First winning season since 2016. Absolutely. Absolutely. This team has a 9-5 record. Have a big pivotal game this weekend. Then you got a franchise quarterback. That's something that this team hasn't had in decades since, we haven't had any excitement with this team since the RG3 days. Then you got a lot of cap space to improve on this team, to really put this team in a position to start winning playoff games, hopefully challenging for a Super Bowl in the near future. Then a potential run for DC for a new stadium. And if you bring all of this together and sit down and think about it, you cannot be excited for this. So for all the Washington fans, Redskins, Commanders, football team, whatever you want to call yourself, this is something to be excited about. So this bill gave us a Hail Mary, and by damn, we got it. So leave the likes, comments below. Until the next episode, hail to the Commanders. Let's raise hell, baby.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.